many of y'all like spaghetti squash? Well, today I'm going to take some spaghetti squash that we cooked last night. Of course, this is an extra one. And we're going to take the seeds out of the, that we pulled out of here. I'm going to show you how we're going to clean them up and get them preserved so that we can plant them for next year, and then we can have a whole bunch of this. Okay, so here's all the insides from the spaghetti squash that we had last night for dinner. So what I'm going to do right now is pull all the seeds out of here, that and then we'll get those cleaned up. But first I got to pull the seeds out. Any of them, some of these are cracked, or some of them got cut. And I don't need 100 of them, though. I don't know, might be able to save them for years later. So, like I said, I'm going to pull all of these seeds out of these, spaghetti squash guts. Okay, so I went through the all those guts, and I pulled out what I could as far as the seeds go. Now, this is what I've got out of that batch. Now, this isn't all of it, and there's a reason why. Most of this probably won't make it either. So this particular squash had already started to germinate, and this right here is all the pieces that I pulled out that have already got root systems going. Some of them have leaves on them, so those are definitely not usable as far as keeping for seeds. But I'm thinking I may just try and go ahead and plant them now and see what, see if I can get them to grow. I don't know if they'll grow with it, getting ready to get cold. I don't know how long these take to produce. I guess I'll just. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm going to wash these seeds. You want to get all of the gunk or the fruit off of them. Ooh, they're going to float. So you really want them to be clean. The other thing you want to do is you want to check for some, let me see if I can find one. So this one already started to germinate. Let's see if we can get this in the sun. So you can see all the little roots on there. So that one goes away. Some of these were, they've got tiny little, here's another one that was germinating. Here's one that was, it's open. So that one won't work. Here's one that had a little, it's already got little roots coming through. So that's the things that you got to look for in all of your seeds. You got to look for those that have already started growing, or here's one, or that have just started to open up. Some of these may have been ones that were pulled off from pods that they've already broken open and already have their first set of cotyledal leaves. So anyways, I'm going to go through here, get these cleaned. After this, I'm going to put them on a paper towel and let them dry. We'll see how many we get out of this batch. now that the seeds are all cleaned, I've got to dry them. So I've got here, what is this, a cookie rack, cake rack, whatever you want to call it, cooling rack. I'm putting some paper towels down, and then, see, here's the ones I pulled off, and this paper towel is really wet from where we had put everything. So now just kind of put them in a single layer, and that paper towel will pull all that moisture out off the seeds, and hopefully out of the seeds themselves. You want it in a place and they're going to stay here for a few days so that they can dry. You want to keep this someplace dark and someplace dry. So you definitely, with the moisture that's in them now, definitely don't want to put them in the sunlight. You don't want them hot because they could start germinating. You don't want them too cold, or because of the moisture it could start to mold and mildew. Hopefully drying them out quickly enough and then getting them in a cool spot will help. So once this is done, once they've been sitting for a few days and they've dried out completely, then I can put them in something like a brown paper bag or a paper kind of envelope, and that way it should stay dry. You don't want to put them in a plastic bag like a Ziploc bag or sandwich bag. You definitely want it something that's going to be able to pull that moisture out of them and keep them from being moist. Because all that's going to do, without having proper lighting and things like that, any moisture is just going to lead to them molding and rotting. So I would have showed the whole video of me cleaning, but that took a lot longer than I thought it would. I think it's easier to peel potatoes. But hopefully next year we can get some of these growing and I don't have to wait on the store to pick up some spaghetti squash, because that's my new thing this year, is spaghetti squash. I seem each year to pick a new vegetable to try out and usually end up liking them. I have yet to like mushrooms. I know that's not a vegetable, but so there we go. Now I get to, I'll probably sit here for the day, and then later I'll I may change out this paper towel, depends on if it's wet at all, and then we will go to putting it someplace else. The sun out here is just brutal coming in the window. So yeah, get that done. I've got some that I put in my window, or in some of those that had germinated already. I've got some little pots that I had for herbs and like parsley and stuff like that never did well. I don't do well with little pots of plants, I guess. I think that I have a green thumb, but a lot of times I find out I don't. I can in an aquarium. I have a better green thumb in an aquarium. It's the inner mermaid in me. So anyway, like I said, these are going to sit out today. They're going to dry. If I knew the chickens wouldn't get them, I would put them outside to dry. I know they would dry really well. It's kind of windy today, so I know they would dry well there. But I'm going to take the rest of these squash guts and I'm going to go take them out to the chickens. They'll love it, even the ones that have germinated, and what their crop doesn't grind up, they'll poop out, and we'll have squash growing wild next year. So that could be, that could be fun and interesting, and trying to remember what all we've done. But this technique you can do with just about any type of squash. I say it should be with any squash, really. Pumpkins, things like that too. So if you ever have get your pumpkin and you want to grow some for next year, then, just clean up the seeds, dry them out, and you can plant them. I'm hoping to really start up my own seed bank. Fortunately, it's going to be stuff that I've purchased. I know some won't be seeds that I have to buy, so I don't know. We'll see how that goes. One day, I'd like to get a greenhouse and then be able to grow this stuff year round. So, and I'm hoping to get things like a lemon tree and an orange tree, a lot more of that citrus stuff that wouldn't do well in our winters. So if I get a greenhouse and we can keep the heat and light, things like that, then we can get have some stuff going year round. So, but in a greenhouse will help keep the chickens out of it too. So, other than that, let me show you my plants that I got. And so I put about 3 in each of these little pots. They always put them in little bowls. So, got some. These were ones that were already going, and they're, gosh, they've been in here for maybe 5 minutes and they're already starting to green up really well. So I really honestly don't know what I'll do if they take off. I think I've got a bigger pot outside that I might be able to put them in if they grow, because that would be pretty cool to be able to grow them. I might be able to bring them in the house and actually grow them in the house, and come February maybe I'll have some butternut squash, fresh off the vine. So I've got to do some more research on how these things grow. I don't know if they grow on a vine or if they grow along the ground, or I don't know.